And so we created the human experience. Now, in order for that to happen, since we are these all-knowing, divine, all-powerful beings, we had to, first of all, hide what we knew, totally forget who we really are, and create an alternative life, an alternative universe in a sense. Now, that's the most remarkable part. And this is where, when you get this one, it'll be so helpful to you. Because all the things that we put ourselves down about, that we can make mistakes, do things wrong, and so on, all of those beliefs, and every one of them is a belief, we created. We made it up and convinced ourselves it's real. The whole human experience is all in our imagination. Not a bit of it is real. Amazing. How could we create something that drives us crazy, makes us so fearful, angry, hateful, violence, chaos, wars, and it's all made up. It's not real. And yet we convince ourselves it's real and run with it as though it is. That's masterfulness. That's genius beyond description. And so the willingness to appreciate what we've accomplished by creating and living in the human experience is very helpful as you move through this. Because look, if you can create it, guess what? You can uncreate it. But if you assume you're not the creator of it and you're not the point of power, now the power's outside and you're stuck with it. Which is the way we had to make it seem it is, so it would work. Revolutionary. Totally revolutionary. But very helpful if you can accept this. Because it is the truth. It is the truth. Everything in the human experience is our creation. And everything you hear and see is you talking to yourself. There is no other. See, as much fun as it is to play with each other, the other doesn't exist except in your imagination. And the next part about it is, which is real fun, is since it's in your imagination, you can have it be any way you wish. In the same way that we could make violence and war and terror and everything else, we can also create unlimited ways of playing in the human as who we really are. And that's why we got into this whole thing. See, we had to create the venue in which to play. There was no human playground. And if we didn't first create it by creating the human experience as opposite to our natural state, we can't get to part two, which is why we really set it up in the first place. And we're in that time now when we're moving into phase two, which is a real fun place. Have everything more magnificent than you can imagine and still be in the human. Wow, that's a kick. And the first step is to recognize that we created phase one so we can enjoy phase two. But watch this one carefully. If we're judgmental of phase one, or say, I've had enough of phase one, I'm now a phase two player, won't work. Anytime we diminish our creative power, we disempower ourselves. So appreciating fully the creation of the human experience in all its craziness, challenges, fears, violence, and so on, that's the first step. And once you understand it, it'll be much easier to do it. to reinforce what Rhonda said, don't do it by yourself, please. Because like she said, all your ingenuity, see, all your brilliance was designed to create phase one. And it'll trick you every time, because if it wasn't successful, you couldn't stay in the human. And it's because of that commitment and brilliance and intention and focus that you made it here, but it's also going to outwit you every time if you try to play this game by yourself. You clear on that? Okay. So, doing it with support, essential. Another fact that's running in your favor right now. You've all heard of the Roger Bannister story. But it's classic and it's so valuable. Before Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, there was virtually everyone on the planet was clear that someone attempting that would probably damage himself or herself irreparably and could die. And Roger knew that that wasn't true. So he breaks the 4-minute mile, and what happened? The consciousness in the whole universe opened. That fear was gone forever. No one attempting to run that better than the 4-minute mile has that fear anymore. Okay? But the important principle is, once anyone expands in consciousness, guess what? We all do. So it only leaves one variable. Do you wish to take advantage of that? See, it doesn't just happen. The consciousness is expanded, but you've got a commitment in place to stay in phase one. Don't forget that one. And it's operating all the time, and you've developed patterns that keep you there. If you want to move beyond that, you have to fully appreciate what you've created and set the intention to move into that expanded space. And another thing that Rhonda said, essential in this, stretching. Without the stretch, nothing happens. Nothing. Boy, when I went through the coaching, did I stretch. I'll just mention a couple of things because it's sort of what you do, right? I had done 18 years of weekends, everything's fine, you know, best-selling book and, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And then I started focusing on the inner work. People weren't interested in coming to my events anymore. It wasn't fun, right? So it all grinds to a halt. And then I go deeply into this one-on-one. Lost my train of thought. Where was I going? Stretching.